For more than 3 months, we've been talking about Travis Decker. And he's the former Army infantry soldier who police have been searching for ever since Decker's 3 daughters were found dead near a campground in Washington state. Now, they had been asphyxiated on a weekend when Decker had visitation. Law enforcement officials believe Decker was either managing to hide from them or was somehow staying one step ahead. But tonight, the hunt for Travis Decker may be over. Search teams have found a set of human remains, and they're all but certain the dead person they found is their wanted man, Travis Decker. A short time ago, I spoke to the sheriff of Chelan County, Washington, Mike Morrison. Take a listen. Joining us, Sheriff Mike Morrison. Welcome back to the program with these new developments now with the possible remains of Travis Decker being found. Tell us what the latest is and how confident you are that this could really be it.
Well, we're feeling optimistic. This was already part of a pre-planned search operation that we had talked about here a couple of weeks ago after concluding the one with the FBI. We appreciate the U.S. Marshals and Border Patrol coming out, assisting us during the week. And then yesterday, as we were concluding, we did come upon some abnormalities that we were seeing, some from our drone images. So we searched in closer, found some items of interest. We did use Spokane County Sheriff's Office's helicopter team to repel our detective teams in there, confirmed that it was clothing consistent with what we had last seen with Travis Decker, and also some personal items and then some human remains too. So we collected some of these. We sent them off to Washington State Patrol's crime lab, and I've talked with Chief John Batiste this morning with Washington State Patrol and waiting to get results back on that. But we're optimistic this could be a positive break in the case. But again, we're not going to congratulate one another, pat each other on the back until we do get that DNA confirmation. But this is a good find.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how long could that confirmation take to be made? How long will we have to wait? Because I understand that there were other remains that were found before, turned out to be animal bones, right? But it sounds like you've got, some clothing and that personal effect. How long is it going to take before we know?
Well, I can say the difference between our findings from the last search with the FBI and this search, that we had no question that they were human remains. And now we just have to do the DNA comparison with what samples we have on file with Mr. Decker. We have not been provided an ETA, but we understand that we're not the only agency in Washington state that is investigating a homicide looking for DNA results. So we are pushing and asking just for the professional courtesy. We recognize that we have a lot of federal assets on the ground along with other county assets that we'd like to break back towards our agency if possible. But overall, we're hoping within the next couple of days. We're hoping possibly today, but it looks like it may take a little bit longer.
Was there a weapon found?
No. So far, we've continued to process the scene with the Washington State Patrol's crime response team. Our detectives are still on the ground. I know that we did locate 2 feet that were still intact, and we'll be sending them off to the lab for testing as well. Again, we did discuss that parts of these remains have been spread around, which is consistent with having been exposed to the wilderness and animals getting into it. There's a science behind that as well. And so we'll continue to process the scene, collect as many pieces of the body as we can, and get them off to the lab.
Unfortunately, we have seen that before when we've heard about remains being found and bones being scattered. And it's just devastating to think about when we're talking about a missing loved one. And now we're talking about a fugitive. But still, many people, when this happened, were so angry, were so hurt, were so devastated. Many people, you talk about finding somebody dead or alive, a suspect that could take the lives of his own 3 small daughters. Many people wanted him dead, and I assume that law enforcement wanted to bring him in alive to get some questions answered and to serve some justice.
Absolutely. We've been consistent in our messaging from day one. We told them we mean him no harm. We don't want anything bad to happen to him. We've encouraged others that have been out there threatening him that we would take care of the job. We were consistent with our message as well, that we weren't going to give up. We haven't given up. We're still very much in the fight. It's very challenging terrain to search overall. And what we're hoping to do is that if we had found him alive, we'd love to have had him in court explaining what happened, because it was the allegations made against him, but the evidence certainly points towards him being our suspect. But it appears that we may not get that opportunity. But again, we're not going to confirm it's him until we get the results back. But we feel like we've done what we needed to do for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, bringing a voice to them, serving justice, and ensuring that the law prevailed.
And I just want to touch on the work that you have done and what that means to you and your community personally. If you could just share in closing what the last 3 months have been like for you and your team. I know that you are in the area tonight as we speak, going over to those investigators who are on scene, talking to them What has this been like for you?
It's been a challenge. Certainly, you're looking at the largest manhunt in Chelan County history. You're also looking at one of the most complex and heinous murders that this county's seen. And it's rocked a community. It's rocked our agency. And thankfully, we have several good friends when you're looking at the Washington State Patrol, the other agencies we've talked about with U.S. Marshals, FBI, that have come right alongside us. Spokane County Sheriff's Office, King County. We couldn't have done this alone. We're appreciative for the partnerships we already had established. It's just further strengthened those partnerships, and really we relied on one another. We don't always have the answers, and when you have partners that you can turn to help you out through these challenging situations, you're appreciative of that. But personally, I recognize that this has taken a toll on our agency. We've had several deputies that this is a horrific situation, and these are the kind of situations that'll keep you up at night. I'm going on to 20 years in law enforcement, and this one's tough. But you've just seen the professionalism from our agency, from our partners, that have remained focused that we need to bring justice to Pate, Devlin, and Olivia for this. The fact that they lost their lives is just unacceptable, and they have to be held accountable. The suspect has to be held accountable, and we believe that suspect's Travis. And if we get confirmation, we feel like we've done our job. And the investigation continues, but it really has been a group effort. I appreciate our investigative unit. They've been pushing at this since day one, haven't given up, and have really taken this as a personal challenge and a call to arms.
Thanks to Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison. Those photos that you saw on your screen were from the U.S. Marshals in that region. And of course, as soon as we get more, we will update you as soon as that information about the identity of this body is released.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.